Welcome to Growing a B2B SaaS. On this show, you'll get actionable and usable advice. You'll hear about all aspects of growing a business to a business software company. Customer success, sales, funding, bootstrapping, exits, scaling, everything you need to know about growing a startup, and you'll get it from someone who's going through the same journey. Now your host, Joran Hoffman.
Welcome back to the Grow Your B2B SaaS podcast, where we discuss all topics on how to grow your B2B SaaS, no matter in which stage you're in. As a SaaS, you can't get around it. You start running some kind of paid ads to make sure you keep filling up your pipeline, whether it's the first leads or the leads which go to the sales team later on. To identify if things are going well with your paid ads, you need to measure your CPL, also known as cost per lead. Today, we're going to discuss how to decrease your CPL while remaining GDPR compliant. We're going to do this with Yann Skaalen. He's the founder and CEO of Detective, and they had their first version of the app in 1999, already before the current web analytics tools, which rely on third-party cookies, weren't even available back then. Some interesting things about Yann. He previously owned a mortgage broker, co-founded a bank, owns the trademark CPL Optimizer, and he has his own food blog. So without further ado, welcome to the show, Yann.
Thank you, and thanks for having me, Joran.
Thank you. I think I know exactly why I need to listen to you. Many people probably don't know you yet. Why should people listen to you today?
What should I say? 25 years experience in advertising, over that, and started Detective the first time in 99. So tracking has been part of what I've been doing ever since that.
Yeah, and I think that's where we're going to start as well. We're with the basics today. So you've been in tracking for a really long time, right? So with a basic question, how would you define a successful ad campaign and then in terms of CPL?
Depends on the goal, of course, you have a campaign. So it's one thing to getting the leads in from whatever source you're targeting or advertising on. But the most important thing is the quality of the leads you get in. Are they converting to business? And that's where we kind of have a problem today between a lot of companies have, because the marketing department and the sales department are two separate entities. So the marketing department, they're happy with 10% increase in the conversions, and they expect the sales to then sell 10% more. That's not what the world looks like. And the more leads you get, the lower the quality you get. And then you have to start looking at the quality of your leads.
Nice. And I'm going to ask one more, I think, like a bit basic question just to get into the topic, and then we're going to dive in. GDPR, it has affected the digital advertising landscape quite a bit, I think. Can you explain in your words, how did it affect it? And then, of course, especially in the context with CPL.
Yeah, it kind of became a challenge when I was working in the bank. So we were doing marketing to get application for loans. And then with GDPR, we can use the cookies. We had to find a way to track cookieless and also server side. And we also had to make sure that we didn't store any personal information. And this is where it gets really hard. While working in a bank, you have to be compliant. So that's why Detective 2.0 was born again, making sure that we could track compliance. And the side effect of tracking compliant was you get 100% accurate figures, because we never had that before. Because now your server side, you can't be stopped by ad blockers, JavaScript blockers, bad implementation. So suddenly you have the right set of data. And then when you attribute them to the right sources, and then you attribute to the banking core system or your CRM system, suddenly you can see how much each ad is costing and how much each ad are converting. And then you can start stopping ads. And this is where the shock came, because I'm not going to mention the big names, but like 70% of the ads are non-profitable. And when you start cutting the ads that's not profitable, magic is going to happen, and then you're going to see a little hockey stick.
Nice. Exactly. Because if you know which ones are converting, then you can double down on those.
Not just the converting, but the amount to get in, because that's the quality. And that's also really important to look at.
Yeah. And you mentioned you just launched your 2.0 version. Was that the latest launch you just did, or was it already before?
That was before. So I would say we are now on the 3.0 version. It's end of June. And that's, really proud of the latest version. That's what I dreamt of all my life, and now we're there.
Exactly. Yeah. So I guess a lesson for the founders, it takes a long time to actually get the product on where you want it.
It takes 3 times as long time and costs 4 times the amount of money that you thought.
Exactly. When we go back to the running the ad campaigns, you mentioned a little bit already like what's going wrong, but can you also explain what are the most common mistakes companies make while they set up their ad campaigns?
No person accountable. Some marketers are going to be a little bit upset, but a lot of people just create a lot of ads and they check them every month or every 3 months or whenever somebody needs a report. And if you're doing advertising, let's take Google Ads. I love Google Ads. It's instant gratification. The guy with the most ads in Google is the one that's going to win. And Google is really smart finding the new search terms and finding out what's working for you. And with a complete set of tracking with the accurate figures, this is a place that you really can start scaling and growing. But if you have 5 ads, let them run for 5 years, yeah, maybe you're going to make money, but not the same amount you would if you have 100 ads.
Yeah, like I say that if make somebody accountable and make sure you run multiple ads to figure out what is working.
Yeah, and what I see a lot of people do, so you get a budget, you have 10,000 euros to spend on advertising a month. Then you're going to put 10,000 on Google Ads a month. And yeah, of course, you're going to get a lot of leads for that amount, but you don't know if it's the right number of leads, even the right content. So I would like to share my playbook if it's okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, the people who know me, they know I'm interested in wine. So I would talk about this like wine. So my approach to Google Ads is, and I'm going to use wine. This is your product, but I'm going to use wine. So I'm going to start with red wine. So one campaign, one ad group, one ad, one search term, red wine. And I'm going to set the budget for 5 euros or 10 euros a day. And I'm just going to leave it because I can lose 5 or 10 euros. Every new founder can lose 5 or 10 euros, but they can't spend 10,000 euros a month to see what's working. And what's going to happen then Google is going to find a lot of search terms for you. And then you go into the search terms report and you're going to see that, oh, Spanish wine is converting. I'm back to the wine yet. French wine is converting. Now we have an indicator or something. So the Spanish wines and the French wines. Okay, cool. That's a new campaign. French wine, one campaign. New ad group, French champagne wine. Yeah. And same strategy again. And then Google, then again, because now it's French wine. Then they're going to find the producers. Oh, so the producer that's converting, they get a new ad group. And then in that ad group, you're going to find the vintages. And that's a new ad. And suddenly, now for 5 to 10 euros a day, you're finding out what resonates with your target group. And that's something that people spend a long time to find out. But with Google Ads, you can find out what they're searching for and what their intentions are. And then you can create your ads based on that. And suddenly, now you have the basis for your content.
Yeah, and I guess like how long would you run the red wine campaign? Just until I guess like Google Ads is going to give you suggestions for the...
It never stops.
Never stops.
Because you're going to dig down. And that's why we call our tool Digger, because you're digging down and you get the things that you make the most money on.
Yeah, makes sense. So you always keep them running and you just keep adding ads towards on the campaigns.
Yeah, because Google is crazy smart. A lot of people create AI to try to trick Google and do stuff with Google. Well, maybe try to use Google's algorithm to find out what's working for you instead.
Makes sense. You own the trademark CPL optimizer. That's what I found out when I downloaded your ebook. Can you share the process you use to decrease a cost per lead?
It's quite simple because when you integrate our tool, so we are server side and we connect it to your CRM system. So we connect with, Mate, Bing. So we get all your advertising data there, your cost, your clicks, everything. And then we're going to track each click you get from that source with the value. And they're going to go through your homepage and hopefully they're going to sign up for a trial or they're going to sign up for a book a demo. And this is where a lot of people miss out because the book a demo thing, you need to track what's happening with a demo. So a conversion from a book a demo could be 120 days. I think the longest sales cycle we track now is 630 days something.
Wow.
And being GDPR compliant, we don't have to delete the data after 90 days, so we can keep the whole sales cycle. That's really important because then you can see the quality and you also can see the salesperson, how they are working. So they are also going to pop up in the graphics if they are not closing or winning.
Yeah. And is that then also a way to identify if a salesperson is indeed performing or is it a bit too much?
Yeah, we can't see that, but yeah, you as a CMO can see that because you're going to see how either close won, close lost, or is something in the middle. So what we are going to show in our platform when it's connected to all the APIs with the advertising channel, but also with your CRM. So you're going to see the ones that's close won, and that's where you're making money. you have the closed lost, the red ones. And that's where we have a pause button inside our system. So you actually stop the ads from our tool. So you see it's losing 10,000 euros. Stop. Gaining. Yeah. Okay, that's one's going to get more money. But the yellow ones, you can't either stop or do anything with because they're still in process.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think to summarize it, making sure you connect all the data sources to each other, make sure you actually connect it with the CRM system so you can follow the entire funnel basically until the end of close one or close last.
Or even longer with, churn and further revenue down the line, stacking the MRR, for example.
Yeah, makes sense. And I think like one of the things, for example, both of us were going to SaaS Talk, right? People are going to have a booth there. So connecting your CRM would also allow you to actually track offline conversions or at least offline conversations, because that is something you always lose.
On SaaS Talk, you will use a QR code and have a giveaway because that's really offline. And they will scan the QR code. We will know that was SaaS Talk, or our tool will know that. And then you can see the conversion afterwards from SaaS Talk.
When implementing a system like yours, or at least like decreasing these CPLs, I think it sounds easy, but you probably run into quite a few challenges and obstacles along the way. So I guess, can you explain maybe what are the most common ones and how do you normally overcome those?
The first client is a really big real estate company in Norway. And from the start to the end, it took 7 months to integrate them. And that's just horrible. And that's on version 2. So onboarding has been our pain, not the data, but the onboarding and the technical process. So we got it down to 2 weeks. Now we are in Mars. We're going to be completely product-led. So we are now in the Magento Adobe store, so you can download us for there, but you can't still connect everything yourself. We're going into the HubSpot store. So for now, you can just connect Google, Meta, Bing, HubSpot. You can do it in an instant. The only thing we need now is the server-side script on it. But 6 months, totally product-led.
Nice. And I guess in general, when people want to decrease like their CPL and want to follow the process you just mentioned, like I think what are besides making sure that's actually up and running, are there any other challenges they might run into?
No, now it's so simple to integrate, but IT is always a challenge because so the small companies don't have an IT department, so they have to buy it somewhere else. Then we do it for them if it's a small client. If it's a bigger client, like I work a lot with banks, and you have to talk with compliance, CMO, CTO. So the sales cycles are going to be long. But when they first decide to do the project, that is not on rails, but it goes fast.
Growing a B2B SaaS is tough. We know. This is why we started Reditus. We help you to grow your monthly recurring revenue without high upfront costs. How? By leveraging someone else's network and only giving away a commission when they deliver you a paid client. It's called affiliate marketing. It's already a really cost-effective and scalable revenue channel. We even made it better for you. With Reditus, you can start for free and only start paying us when you generate revenue. Learn more at www.getreditus.com.
Maybe one question before we're going to decrease the CPLs. A lot of companies try to do it, like even ourselves, like we ran some paid ads and then we turned them down again. I think, is there an ideal moment where you should start running paid ads as a company?
I'm not going to talk to the seasoned founder. I would like to talk to the founders that are just one guy starting to set up his shop. So the first thing I think is important is to create the base, the foundation of the house, because your company is going to be a house. And the foundation for a SaaS company is obviously your web page. So you should create a web page that is, SEO good or ready, because if you have to change that later, that's going to be hard and expensive. And I will hope they're connected with our CRM, whatever they like. But I kind of like WordPress and HubSpot if I'm going to share my playbook, because it's easy to grow in them. And then I would start with the €5 a day as the go-to-market strategy, because you're going to learn so much about what the intent they have and what they're searching on. So I wouldn't call that paid ads, but that's just testing your messaging. And you're going to learn so much from it. And then you're also going to learn what searches you get. And then you're going to create content. And then you're going to SEO optimize it, because SEO is going to be with you for the rest of the company's life.
Yeah, so I guess start early. Make sure you already have something running so you can actually start learning from it based on just those few ads you're running and that small budget you're putting into it.
Yeah, and obviously LinkedIn outreach and cold emails or cold calls and friends and family. And the drill.
Yeah, we definitely have a good summary episode on that, like what you should be doing as an early stage founder. When we talk about the future of ad tracking, there's a lot of things going on, of course. Like, how do you see the future of ad tracking?
The compliance part. So GDPR, I would say nobody actually cares. Big corporation cares. The people that are having a brand that they don't want to lose, they care. The rest actually don't care. They're doing whatever they need. But you can see now in Europe, we have GDPR. The e-privacy regulation was due to come at the same time as GDPR. Still not finished. But you see in the States, you have CPA. I know that Virginia and Washington are looking at regulation. So I think the regulations are it's going to be more and more regulated, and it's going to be harder and harder to track. And just now in 5 days, iOS 17 is coming. And then they're removing the click ID. So the talk was that they're removing it only in Safari in privacy mode. We don't know that. So when the click ID disappears from both Google and Facebook, it's going to be even harder to track in just a week. Big changes that are happening now.
Yeah, so when we put that into real practice, like it's going to be harder to actually measure the cost per lead because you don't know where the traffic is coming from because they're making it harder and harder for people to track things.
Yeah. But this is, for me, I'm so old. So I learned marketing in school. So way back to where we started. So the thing with the cookies and the tracking and attribution and everything, the funnel, the way that you'll think about the funnel as a SaaS company, that's going to change for you because you're going to, the top funnel are going to be more and more unclear. And it is today, if you look at the Google Ads figures or the Google Analytics figures, and you look at what you actually have in the CRM system, the discrepancy is 20 to 40% and even more. So you're still running your business based on faulty data, and you actually don't know what anything is worth.
Yeah, and is that maybe then a common mistake that people don't know that they're actually running on faulty data? Because do you think everybody knows that they're actually looking at faulty data?
No. Most of them have no clue. I had a meeting with a bank one time and we were talking about faulty data, and the CMO went into the system to check if I was lying. And then he says, we are losing over 20% of the applications here. And then they looked at the guy from the CTO and said, did you know this? And he said, yeah, I thought everybody know that. And now with the cookie consent and the cookies not being set, it's getting even worse.
Cool. When we gonna talk about advice per stage, you gave a little bit of advice already for the early stage founders. But when we talk about optimizing your CPL and maybe even more in general, like what kind of advice would you give as SaaS founders who are starting to their business and growing to 10K monthly recurring revenue?
Yeah, first of all, it's friends and family, the people, and you got to get the first clients to having a proof of concept. And I would say that's the hardest part, getting the first 10 clients. So when you got the 10 clients, you're not all good, but you're in a lot better place. But it's just looking at us as a house. You're building a house and the foundation has to be solid. So you have to start thinking about what you're doing, your homepage, your planning. So I have strategies that 3 years down the road, not even touching it, but I have the diagram. So I need to do this. And then I can do this, and then I can do this, and then I can do this. So it follows. So don't try to overachieve and do everything at once. Just start with the homepage, call the outreach, friends, family, 5-10 euros a day on ads, and then the LinkedIn outreach and the cold emails. And then if you manage with just focusing on those things, then you're going to be a lot further than a lot of people that are all over the place. And I'm not talking to the bootstrap guys because the other ones are going to waste the 10,000 euros on ads the first month, and 70-80% of it is going to be lost. So I like the bootstrap with the red wine. Yeah,
I know you love wine, and I like that you bring it up like this. I think it's a really great advice. As indeed is like building a house, because if you really are ready to start scaling, you want to do it on a good foundation instead of everything is shaky and tied together, and then at one point things are going to break a lot.
Yeah. And for me personally, the thing I'm working for is getting my time back, because now I'm everything. So hiring people. So for me, the strategy is hiring people that is better than me in all the positions, so I can just leave the things to them.
Yeah, and I think you're surpassed 10K MRR. You're now growing towards 10 million ARR. So this advice is also going towards yourself. What kind of advice would you give SaaS founders who are going through the same journey as you are right now?
Yeah, just as I said, good foundation. I'm lucky, so I already have 4 exits, so I know what it takes to build a company. And so I would say, like, you and me are a member of the same SaaS Talk founders memberships. Don't listen to everybody, because you're going to get so many advices from LinkedIn. The experts are talking about how to build and scale and create things. Well, how many companies did they sell? How many companies did they create? Yeah, some are really good, but most of them, 90% of them, none. And you shouldn't listen to them. Being part of a community with like-minded people and learning, and that's what I like with our talks in SFM, because I'm learning from your mistakes. I don't care about how you succeed, because maybe I can put that to my company. But when I hear where somebody really messed up, I make a note of that, and I'm trying not to do the same mistake. So I think that smart people try to learn from other people's mistakes, and that's where I take my learning, not the success stories about everything that is great.
Yeah, and I think, as you mentioned, like learning from somebody's mistake, you need to be in some kind of a community, because everybody shares the good things on LinkedIn, but they don't share the ugly, of course. So you find a community like SFM, which is going to help you to actually build those relationships and have people share them with you.
Yeah. And if anybody, after I said Forex is created the 5th company, if anybody thinks I'm really successful, all the mistakes you can do, I probably have done them. So it's just minimizing the damage when you do.
Yeah, and I know we had really good conversations regarding this, as indeed, like, you learn a lot. I learn a lot from you. I even call you my SaaS dad, just because indeed, like, you're way further than I am, right? Like, I'm just building my first SaaS. You already had 4 companies, 4 exits. Like, that's where I learn a lot from. And that's why, of course, we have this conversation right now.
Yeah.
With all the experience, is there one thing you wish you knew 10 years ago?
Oh, yeah, a lot. But the most important thing 10 years ago, what did I learn 10 years ago? Don't you spend too much money on technology before you have tested your product. That's something I think I should have learned over 10 years. So, and but in the bank, you have a better budget. But we made some mistakes there. I don't want to do it detective.
Yeah, and is that then because you saw a new shiny tool who could do maybe something for you, and then you spend a lot of money and time on it?
Yeah. I bought all the shiny tools. I was actually sitting yesterday looking at the I said, I want it. I need it. No, I want it. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm going to discuss with myself for probably next week. But yeah, we working with the things we do. We love the shiny tools and the new tools and the new tech.
Yeah, let's see if you can behave yourself, because I'm going to see it at SaaS Talk, so I'm going to ask which phone you have in 3 weeks from now.
Yeah, if you ask somebody in my family, I probably have it.
Because we are coming to the end. I know when I investigated more about you, I found an ebook where you run through the things we discussed as well. Are you okay with me sharing it in the show notes?
Yeah, of course. And we are launching the new web pages now with the new tool. So the official launch date for the new tool is actually 1st of October. But we are launching the web pages hopefully next week. And then I'm going to start creating some more videos and do some more content, because now we are finished. Yeah, we are finished with the startup phase. We are now going into the scale phase.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, so this episode is going to come out like before that. So when people listen to this, I think look at a week from after the launch of this podcast and go to detective.com. If people want to get in contact with you, Yann, what is the best way?
Now, LinkedIn. I write a lot on LinkedIn, and I share a lot of my tips on LinkedIn. I'll just go into the page, book a demo, or book a call with me, and I'll be there.
Nice. Any final thoughts before we jump off?
Yeah, I'm always there to support bootstrap guys. Even if you don't have that much money and you need to start scaling, reach out. If I can help, I will help. And we're not charging full prices for bootstraps. Not at all. It's all about helping out the other founders.
Yeah, and I know out of experience, it's just good to have a chat with you as well, because you're going to learn a lot. So I would definitely recommend people doing so if they're still listening now.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks for coming on to the show, and see you in Dublin.
Yeah, we'll do. And thanks for having me.
No worries. Thanks, Yann.
Thanks.
You've been listening to Growing a B2B SaaS. Joran has been a head of customer success before founding his own startup. He's experiencing the same journey you are. We hope you've gotten some actionable advice from the show. And we hope you had fun along the way. We know we did. Make sure to like, rate, and review the podcast in the meantime. To find out more and to hook up with us on our social media sites, go to www.getredditous.com. See you next time on Growing a B2B SaaS.